Content creator Kimbyrleigha has joined the group of people she not too long ago was heavily criticizing, and the pile on against her has been increasing by the day. But I think there is another side to this in Kimberlea's defense, and it also requires me to call out the anti-MLM content creation community. Hey there, it is Nick Zangl. Welcome in. This is the place where we have open, honest, unfiltered conversation about a wide range of topics from social media influencing social issues, politics, pop culture, culture in general, and we do it every Monday and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. And before we get into this defense of Kimbyrleigha video and calling out the anti-MLM community, I want to give a quick disclaimer here that this is not me co-signing everything this person has ever said or done, meaning Kimbyrleigha. This is me giving the other side of the argument on her latest move that I don't see really happening in a balanced way in the YouTube space in particular, and for valid reasons, because a lot of people are not happy with this decision. But I, however, would like to balance out in the best way I can those arguments against her and try to see things from the other side. So let's first start with, in case you haven't heard of this story and you don't know what's going on, a quick background update on Kimbyrleigha's journey and how she got to where she is today. And this is all content-wise. So she started off from when I found her a year ago. She was already doing anti-MLM content, and that's kind of how I found her. But I was looking back on her history, and it looks like before that she was really gaining a lot of her traction from, and a lot of her most popular videos are from PopSocket reviews and PopSocket information videos, because she has a phone case company, and she obviously PopSockets work perfectly with that company. About a year ago, so in the springtime, early spring, she started doing anti-MLM content. In case you didn't know what MLM was, multi-level marketing. You've probably heard of Tupperware, Mary Kay, I don't know, Southern Living at Home, Burger, Arbonne, Herbalife, Monat, whatever it's called. I don't know, jewelry, paparazzi. There's LuLaRoe. There's a ton of them, right? So if you weren't curious, if you didn't know what MLM meant, that's what that means. But come to the end of 2020. So this was towards the beginning of 2020, and then by the end of 2020, we get a video where Kimbyrleigha states that she is no longer anti-MLM. And this caused a huge stir in the anti-MLM creator community on a bunch of different platforms, but in particular on YouTube. And so now we come to 2021, and she has just come out saying she is a market partner, which is basically a distributor or a consultant for Monat, which is the hair care and skincare multi-level marketing company. So that is what the latest scuffle or the latest uproar against Kimbyrleigha is that she actually joined an MLM that she once heavily criticized not even a year ago. And so that's what's going on. So the worst part about this is that her audience and other creators that did similar content to her as far as anti-MLM goes, who still appeal to that anti-MLM content or that audience, they probably feel betrayed, and for a good reason. I mean, you probably subscribed to her channel thinking that she was going to be producing anti-MLM content moving forward, and all of a sudden she's joining the group that she has been criticizing, and that's the reason you subscribe. So it's very understandable why people are upset. And a lot of people also may feel that, and I've seen this in comment sections, that she is an opportunist, she was a grifter because she's changed her content creation so many times, and that those things could be true. We don't know what her intentions are. All we see is that she has changed her content over time, and she did post a video saying and trying to explain why she is the way she is, why she has changed her direction of her channel so many times, and I don't think that should be used against her, because trust me, I'm part of that group that has changed a few directions a few times, and so that I don't think that should really play into it that much, as long as her intentions are good, which let's hope they are. Some people don't think they are, but we'll see. It also could be, and I think this is a more likely scenario here, that she was on an extreme part of the spectrum of anti-MLM versus MLM. And through her conversations, from what I understand in her latest video, with people in an MLM and her experience talking to them personally, not just seeing what's been posted and reacting to videos, not knowing them at all, it appears that she has moved more towards the middle, and maybe even middle toward leaning towards pro MLM, right? Because she joined the MLM, obviously. And so she's not on either extreme, it appears, at the moment. And so this is when I saw people painting her as this, went from all the way anti-MLM to all the way MLM. But when you watch her video, her newest video, you realize that that's not the case. She is somewhere in the middle, leaning towards pro MLM. And personally, I've definitely held some more extreme views on a wide range of things just in general, and have since moderated those views without getting too specific on what those views are. But so maybe this is an example of that, and this, I think, should open a bigger discussion on, and a bigger conversation about what effect algorithms on any social platform, but in particular YouTube maybe, potentially favoring extreme content, meaning like, I'm like all the way against this, or I'm all the way for that, or this person's like God and this person's the devil, or whatever the case may be, or this certain product is horrible, let's bash it all, and then this one's the end-all be-all holy grail, or whatever it is. Algorithms potentially favoring that kind of content. We might not need to have a bigger conversation of needing to do that to get into the algorithm to make a living doing content creation, what effect that has on our society in general. Because this example just with Kimbyrleigha shows that this one extreme or the other has caused her to be painted, in my opinion, in this new light as someone who is on this other extreme, when in reality, I think she's somewhere in the middle. And so I think that is an important conversation. Maybe we can have it in the comment section of this video, or I can maybe kind of explore that idea or ask some questions in a future video. Let me know what you think. But I think that is a very, very pressing question, because it's true that if your whole livelihood depends on making money online, and in order to make money, you have to get into an algorithm or be favorable to that algorithm, and that algorithm only favors extreme content or this clickbaity, over-the-top lifestyle, or not flamboyant, extravagant lifestyle, but maybe you're not there yet. How do you make that work, So I think there's a lot of questions that could be asked there, and then a lot of good dialogue can come from that. And if you watch her latest video, you see she is sharing where people go wrong in promoting an MLM and what they can do better when promoting their MLM. But from my perspective, the tips she is sharing on her channel currently, the last video was posted a few days ago, are things that can be applied elsewhere. So outside of MLMs, maybe in traditional sales, traditional business, even affiliate marketing or YouTube or whatever the case may be. So if you don't think MLM is your thing and you're still kind of anti-MLM, and you like Kimbyrleigha as a person, you can still benefit from her content that she's currently putting out, and you can use it in your life in some way, shape, or form. Even if you're not in sales or anything, a lot of the techniques and sales techniques, if you will, can be used in office politics, can be used in your 9-to-5 day job, whatever the case may be, or even chatting with people online. It can all be used in different forms. Now, if you are still here, make sure to thumbs up this, rumble it, upvote, rate this, whatever platform you are listening/watching on. Make sure to do all the things really quickly, and then we will get into the calling out the anti-MLM community right now. So really, it's more, first I want to touch on confusion I have with the anti-MLM reactions to Kimbyrleigha joining an MLM after she's been calling them out for so long. And obviously she became a market partner for Monat, which was a frequent character in the anti-MLM reaction world, because they seem to be one of the newer ones. That knowledge or history of distributors that have been there for a long time do kind of guide these newer ones. So they were kind of a source for a lot of fodder within the anti-MLM community because they gave them so much content. Here's my confusion. If the problems with MLMs as portrayed by anti-MLM creators, are the way people work the business and the predatory nature that a lot of people appear to use to build their MLM business. And also another criticism is that they think that the product claims are over the top and not true. And Kimbyrleigha joining MLM, joining Monat, is working the business correctly, and in her opinion, as someone who was a critic on what not to do and is showing basically how to do it and do it different than others, or the right way in her opinion. And she also has had good experience, personal experience with the product. Shouldn't we be celebrating that, especially if you're anti-MLM, that someone is in an MLM doing the job correctly, promoting it correctly, and has had personal testimony with the products? I think that's something they should be celebrating, because they always talk about how the problems they have with these MLMs is the way they work their business, the structure, the product claims, whatever the case may be. And Kimbyrleigha appears to be trying to combat those two things from within. And I commented this on Radiant Brit, who I frequently kind of respond to or mention because I enjoy her content. And she was touching on this theory that she thinks that Kimbyrleigha might be joining an MLM to kind of change it from within, or to kind of, change from within, or change the culture from within. And I believe that is a spot on theory, because if she is trying to change it from within and she actually effectively does it, this can be very, very, very lucrative for Kimbyr. And I think the problem with the anti-MLM community being so against Kimbyr, and I've seen a few of them touch on this in their reaction to her decision to do this, is they don't want her, Kimbyrleigha, to give MLMers who may be doing these predatory things or these immoral things in their opinion, give them the okay, or give them the green light to know that what they're doing is okay when it really is not. And I don't think it has to work that way. I think Kimbyrleigha joining will hopefully affect positive change within, and you can still call out the people who are doing it wrong. And to me, I think that's kind of they're covering it by saying they don't want these MLMers to get kind of confirmation that what they're doing is okay, when in reality, I think these anti-MLMers who their entire content is based on anti-MLM, haven't really, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have not really strayed away from that being their thing. Let's say all MLMs start working their business correctly and start succeeding. What are they going to talk about? And this has been my criticism with my whole Katie Joy situation too, is I make videos about Katie Joy, but I do not want my entire channel to turn into all videos are Katie Joy related. So that's why I don't just talk about that. If it comes up, something interesting comes up that falls in my category of social media, politics, or culture in general, and I think it's a good source to start conversations, of course I'll touch on it if I feel it's right for me. But in this case, I think that is a big fear, and I don't know if they're willing to admit that, but I'd be curious to know if any of them actually do. And as far as the drama that happened at the end of 2020 with Kimbyrleigha saying she's not anti-MLM anymore, that drama within the anti-MLM community, if you will, as someone myself who watched prior to Kimbyrleigha joining the anti-MLM community, before the kind of explosion of anti-MLM content, because I was still in an MLM, and continued watching after I stopped being a distributor, and was watching this whole drama unfold of Kimbyrleigha not being in the community anymore or calling them out. It was this, either you were with us or you were against us. That was kind of the mantra, or the feeling I got from people who were upset with Kimbyrleigha. And I personally did not jump in or make a video at the time, or even really comment that much. I was kind of reading comments, but not really responding, because I don't feel strongly one way or the other on anti-MLM or MLM. Like I said, I'm not in an MLM anymore, but I did not turn into this anti-MLM person. And it's because my experience in an MLM showed me that it can work for some people, but there are many things that you need to have in order to be successful. And if you want to know kind of why I think I failed at an MLM and why I think others succeed, let me know if you would like a whole video on that. I'll just leave it up to you guys, but this is why I didn't get to the point actually of doing full-on anti-MLM content. I have done a few videos on my MLM experience. I guess it's almost a year ago at this point, but I only did a few videos and I was like, I don't know. I don't feel this way because I knew I wasn't one or the other, so it was kind of a weird place to be. So in my opinion, saying you don't want to associate with Kimbyrleigha because she is no longer anti-MLM as an anti-MLM creator, if you're saying that, to me it is very similar to cutting off communication with someone because they are leaving an MLM and you are still in an MLM. And that cult-like tactic that many put that label cult on MLMs for, using these tactics by distributors, and they use that kind of to their advantage, these predatory behaviors. And even anti-MLM people use labeling MLMs as cults to their advantage as well. I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to dissociate with anyone or people whenever you want, because I believe in freedom of assembly and freedom of association, but you got to hold that same standard to everyone, including yourself and your own community that may be against this other community. Because for me, what actually led me to leave my MLM was not anti-MLM videos per se, but I was centering my goals around the MLM rather than setting my goals and seeing if the MLM fits in helping me achieve those goals. And when that mindset shifted in that way, I realized, okay, this isn't for me. And it was a very clear decision, and a very clear next step was to leave. So there's that. And just a general warning to anyone heavily invested in this whole thing emotionally: being outraged over someone else's decisions is going to affect you more than them. So you don't have to agree with them. You can express your feelings towards them, but you can't make decisions for them. And basing your day on someone else or something out of your control is not healthy. So I would heed that word of caution to everybody. And the only person that really has to deal with the ramification of Kimbyrleigha's decisions is Kimbyrleigha. So just remember that when you're kind of leaving a hate comment or you're letting it affect your entire day. Now, the last thing I want to cover is actually the reason why I put the disclaimer at the beginning of this video regarding not being me defending Kimbyrleigha, is not me co-signing everything she's ever said or done. And that's because I do not agree with her current way of addressing comments or critical comments in her comment section. The tone I understand from my side, from what I expressed here, is she is a little harsh, I would say. I mean, she's clearly confident in her decision. I think you can tell in the tone of her voice and her presence on camera that she clearly is happy with this decision. But the way that she's defending it in her comment section, to me, and others are saying it, is coming across as her being a little too defensive and actually might be turning people off the way she's doing it. Because in the video, she's very fair, and I think some people don't like, sometimes she's a little too honest, kind of a little dry and direct. But of course, in a video is a little easier to digest because you hear tone and you hear inflection. But in the comment section, people are taking her comment responses a little more harshly, and I hope she takes that into account and maybe she'll address it in the future. But that was one of the main reasons why, and one of them had to do with Monat, how they have class action lawsuits against them for people whose hair has fallen out, and Kimbyrleigha's response was, I would do exactly what my friend Chaz Dean, who does When Hair Care, what he did with his lawsuits, which is have it play out in the courts or with the judge and in the courts and whatnot. And so people weren't happy with that because they're like, well, what if it was your hair that was falling out and blah, blah, blah. And to that I say, if her hair was falling out, she probably wouldn't be a market partner or be using the product. And so I don't think she was discounting people's experience with the product, but she wasn't saying like, that's what I'm going to base my entire thing on because I have had good results. And she did mention that how that was one of the problems she's seen with these MLMers is they think these are these products that fit everyone, when in reality it should be tailored, or you should be consulting with these people to make sure that the product is not having adverse effects on them before they even try it. And so I thought her comments, although it came off sometimes a little abrasive, she answered the question in a very moderate way, in my opinion. And then another comment under her video was about her being a charlatan and how during a pandemic she is scamming people out of money, whatever. And to that I would say, if she's fraudulently obtaining money, then it is for sure a problem. I mean, I don't think anyone disagrees with that, even her. But just because you feel one way about her doesn't mean everyone does. And at the end of the day, you don't have to buy anything from her. You don't have to watch her videos. You don't have to comment. You don't have to do anything. And who is to say someone else who maybe actually sees a benefit and wants to join and sees it as good and actually benefits from it, why is that your decision to tell them that they can't do that? So if you are still here and you have listened / watched this entire time, and you have already upvoted, liked, reviewed, rumbled, whatever it is, thank you so much. And if you want to make sure we do not lose touch no matter what, and you want to stay updated on everything, make sure to head to my website, nickzangl.com, where you can type in an email, a first and a last name, if only thing required is an email, and click sign up. Then go to your email that you signed up with and click yes, I would like to be subscribed to this list on that confirmation email, and then you will get email updates on everything going on with me, content-wise and otherwise. So make sure to do that, and we can have chats, personalized chat back and forth via email, which would be really cool. That way, if you're not comfortable commenting something that you don't want people to attack you for or whatnot, you can do it to me personally. So with that said, I will talk to you all in the comment sections, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.